Hi, this is Lilia from Heal Scotland with the Help Yourself podcast. And today we have the beautiful Emanuela De Giorgio. Did I say your name right?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Manuela's been a friend of mine for, the best part of a decade now, really.
Yes.
And when I was over in Malta this summer, I realised that she had moved up to the north in Manakata, which is one of my favourite areas of the island, and had moved the veg box, which was her concept, and to this building that her and another friend of mine, Gabby, have been renovating and working with organic farmers, and really you've got a very, very strong and important message, I think, for not just for the Maltese people. I think the model that you're creating there, I would love to see it in Scotland as well. So can you just tell us a little bit of your journey into growing to becoming a farmer, the sexiest farmer in the planet?
Wow. It's been quite a journey, actually. In reality, it all started just by following something I really love doing, which was ceramics. And then that took me into a garden where I started working in basically a very small area, growing food in a private garden for a family. And then eventually, over the years, I started selling the produce, and we started opening like a proper shop twice a week, a farm shop, literally. And then we made contact with some other farmers from the island who had certified organic fields, and we started promoting their vegetables. And slowly this grew into quite a little shop, really, where we had a nice community of people. And then a year ago, we moved from the location. We were in a beautiful urban garden, but now we actually have moved into, like you were saying, Manikata, which is a beautiful rural area of the island. And we have this amazing building, which is now, yes, like you said, we've restored it over the summer. It's from 1939. It's from the British military times. And we have a very small field just 100 meters away from the shop. So basically this journey, we realize now within this last year that, I mean, we've never really been just about selling vegetables. It's always been about engaging people with their food. So it's always been very nice. We've had repeat customers. We've seen children grow up and mummies feeding them the food that we provide through our shop, really. And we came to a point where there's a lot of, now, after 7 years that we've been at it, because that's when really and truly this started in 2012, a lot of options now for organic food. But we realize that in the end, it's so much more than just the vegetables. One has to really see the lifestyle behind it, or the concept of being more organic in our ways of being and maybe thinking, and trying to be a little bit more conscious and aware about everything in our life, not just where our food is coming from and how it's grown, whether with pesticides or not. So for us, we really stick to the concept of local food, and engaging people to be more aware and care more for the local farmers who are really important to society. So, yeah, sorry, that's really long. I don't know if that was...
No, that's absolutely perfect, because when I came and spent a bit of time with you when I was in Malta, because I love everything that you're doing, and I love the space, and I want to help in any way, even though I'm not actually on the island. I know there's things that we can all do. I think that your message is not just about Malta, although clearly that's hugely important to both of us, but it's a message that the whole entire world really needs to hear. And what I loved was, when somebody came in and bought a huge beetroot, and you just kind of made the story of the beetroot come alive to this person. And I thought, God, we've lost that completely. The energy that was put into it, and the way this person felt about buying this beautiful, organic, gorgeous beetroot. I was like, oh,
Yes.
wow.
Some people look at beetroots and they're like, or any other vegetable for that matter, but beetroot in particular, they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with a beetroot. Like, how do I cook it? And it's actually very simple. You don't need to cook it. You can eat it raw. Anyway, yes. But getting them engaged, and now that particular person actually buys beetroot regularly. So it's just about educating and, giving a bit of a interest.
And what the other thing that I loved was the fact that you're you and Gabby both very vibrant, young energy, bringing giving the farmers that have been there, who have been kind of battering their head off a bit of a brick wall, giving them a bit of moral support and helping them to understand how important they are on the islands. So do you want to just talk a bit about farming and the land getting taken over?
Yes, I mean, one of the most important things is encouraging farming, because we can't expect farmers to take care of the land, grow good food, and be real stewards of the rural area of the island if we don't value them. So I think the biggest problem is that we don't understand their importance.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously in the last 50 years, there's been a big change in the economics of the island, and we've gone into a lot of, for example, different sectors which obviously give more money than farming at the moment. So people have been driven towards different sectors, when in reality farming is very important and we need to bring that back. And we're only going to bring it back by encouraging the young farmers that remain to grow more sustainably, in order to give the people of the island what they want, which inevitably is always going to go towards less pesticides. So, and if people become more aware of the effects of getting food from other parts of the world, when we have it growing here in Malta, can be dangerous and it's not good for climate change, for example, then, you know, people will start caring a little bit more, and every little helps, you know, really. So,
and it's consumer awareness, isn't it? Like we were saying before, consumer has to be aware that no matter what you buy, you're making a statement. It's a vote, or for or against. And I think the other concern with farming everywhere in Scotland too is that if farmers can't make money, and if they're not valued for giving us the life force that we need to be the vibrant spiritual beings that we are, then they will sell the land to developers, and that is the last thing that we need.
Absolutely. Or even just growing food, or growing, literally, even here the problem in Malta is often the food that is grown is then taken to the main market and not sold, because there would have been a huge amount of that one product and it doesn't get sold. Or so there's a lot of energy and resources and people's time and energy being wasted, and it's too much. Like, I think it's about time that we start valuing these basic things, and just being more aware. We can all make a difference. So I don't expect everyone to come to the veg box, you know, Lilia. I understand we're a little bit further than other shops. We're not as convenient because we're not open every day, and we don't have our vegetables being sold in the main market or in supermarkets for that matter. But anyone can make a difference by being a little bit more aware, even at their own supermarket. So just asking where the veg is coming from, looking at the labels, and you can buy a local carrot, which is sitting just by a carrot from Spain. And the difference is really in choosing the local one and hoping, again, that your supermarket is being honest and fair and putting the right vegetable in the right place. Because unfortunately, things like the European Union have not helped. The prices of vegetables from abroad sometimes is cheaper than the ones from the local market, and it's absurd. But we can't do anything about it. So if we can either go and fight against these stupid laws that have been put in and have not been amended. Maybe they'll be amended in the future, but in the meantime, us as consumers can really make a difference. So I encourage, But I want people to come out to where we are in Manicata, which is now, like, you know, we named it the Farmery. Because the veg box is the established hub, for the network of local sustainable farmers. And now it is the home of the veg box is this beautiful barrack, which is so much more than just vegetables. We have the secondhand clothes, because fashion also makes a big difference to things like climate change and waste management and this stuff. And so yes, we want people to come out into the away from the urban area into the rural and just have a nicer experience. At the end of the day, you drive up, pick up your vegetables, have a cup of tea, have a it's a beautiful space, and
just being up there, and it's really close to Golden Bay, so people can call in on their way back from the beach, or their way to the beach, and just chill there. It is such a beautiful space. The other thing, before we go on to talking about the space and the potential for that area, which is enormous, is that I know that you're really you're careful with your packaging as well. Can you just talk a little bit about how you package things?
I mean, in reality, we don't really package anything at the moment, like apart from the things, obviously vegetables come in the boxes, in the different crates according to the farmers that we work with.
Uh-huh.
And then we have other things like, for example, if we have cake or crackers or anything, we use a type of potato starch or biodegradable plastics, which don't need to actually go into a hot compost, which is the one that like burns everything, but it's more of an industrial composter. We can actually compost them in our own compost in the garden, because it's a very special material which is great. And that's the only thing that we get from, let's say, an industry, like through a supplier. It's the only thing we buy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this was then given to us for free in the end, because he's a friend of ours and we're trying to promote this and make sure that it becomes more available. But otherwise, things like bags or cartons for other things, or plastic containers, we just reuse them. People bring us back jars. We've never really had to buy anything, which is really cool, especially now after Christmas. We got loads of bags from Christmas shopping, which is, I mean, it's great. You know, it's a help for us. And if people still go shopping, which I understand, because everyone likes shopping at one point in life, I guess. I just don't. Yeah. Anyway, we like those bags, so thank you. Basically.
So before we talk about the things that people can do to help and expand this message, and let's just talk about the space, because I know that you and Gabby really have done a lot of it with you've recycled things, you've done it all yourselves, really, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's been we've been quite an interesting group of people who have assisted us in doing this, because obviously we can't do it all alone. So the core team, yes, is a group of girls like you saw, basically, and wow, we've done so much. We've like installed new windows, we've worked with cement, we've built, we've fixed, and everything has been either given to us, upcycled, we either found it on the street. And there's so much potential, because so many people are getting rid of things which they either don't know how to fix, or they can't be bothered, or it is maybe broken, but we can fix it into something else. So we're very lucky, because a lot of people are looking as well to be creative. So a lot of people have come to help us to fit in the windows, because maybe they have a regular job and they want to spend a few hours in a space like ours, assisting people who are creating something which is beneficial to them as well too, because DIY and working in the fields, or planting some seeds, or painting, or sanding, it's all quite therapeutic in a way.
Absolutely. And because, I mean, I think the sort of middle part of Malta, where all the money is, you know, obviously across Slima and St Julian's primarily, it's so built up and so busy. And so to go up there is just, it's almost like being in a different place. So I think it's when people want to escape and get away from the madness, it's just such a perfect place to hang out. And the other thing that you do, before I forget, is that you have these kind of, if you've been doing any stalls and markets, quite often if you get anything left over, you make food, don't you? And you have a kind of buffet that people can come along and have dinner, and you know, give you a donation of whatever it is. It's a really
yes, absolutely. We had they're surplus dinners, and it's done quite in many different places around the world, especially farms or farm shops which have surplus food, surplus vegetables from the week. And since we want to keep cutting fresh and offering the best quality to those who come to pick up on the days of harvest, the rest of the food we turn into a delicious meal, and whoever wishes can come and they give us a donation, and the money that we have in our donation box helps to just literally pay for the coffee, teas, water, and then it goes to electricity bills or anything at the moment. So it's actually really nice. Yes, it feels very community based, and that's the important thing when building something like this, I think.
Yeah, well, you know that my big thing is community and altruism. You know, getting together not for money, just to hang out with people you like, to create things, to, you know, to talk about ideas. And you know, I know that we we discussed the potential for that area, and maybe having a healing community there at one point that can tap into all that wonderful energy
Absolutely.
foods. So we have got ideas that could happen in the future if the universe decides.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it is such a fabulous space. So let's talk about what do you think is the most important message is that about the farmers and about consumer choice and consumer awareness?
I mean, right now, I think it's the fact that there is the information that we know the information is there. We have access to the internet, and obviously, if we need to make sure we're reading the right information from the correct sources, etc. But we know that eating local food, supporting farmers, transitioning towards less pesticides, towards more organic food growing systems, shorter supply chains. We know this, so we need to have the places where we can act on it, because a lot of people don't really know where to go really for the alternative. So we need to create this. I mean, to be honest, if I had to see a place like the Farmery abroad, I would think, oh, this is beautiful, I'd love to have a place like this in Malta. So we just created it here.
Yes.
In a way, because if we do a good job with this, then we will encourage more projects like this.
Absolutely.
And absolutely, you're right. I mean, when we talk about money, for example, we did a lot of work with funding that European Union helped us for our climate change mitigation. Like basically local food helps for climate change.
Yes.
So we believe that we can do more on that side, but we also want to show that farming can be sustainable without the help of this. So we need consumers to support places like ours, so we can then tell other farmers, listen, if you do it organically, or you try to use more sustainable practices, then there is a market. We need to show them this.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. But we need the people to come to at least this one first place, let's say, which is focus on local food and really supporting local young farmers to keep farming. It will encourage the same, because I can't expect someone from the south of the island to come to us.
Yes.
But there definitely is an abandoned building in the south that could be a hub for the local farmers from that area. Why not?
Absolutely.
We need to prove that there is the possibility to find volunteers to start the project, and then I mean, this can be done. It's already being done in other places in the world, so why not try and do it here? We have such a beautiful island.
Well, totally. And I think, if the lorries and the boats stop coming in with all the foreign foods, what are we going to do? If we are incapable of sustaining ourselves with our own land in terms of nutrition, then we are stuffed. It's just we put ourselves into a really vulnerable position by not having water and not having food. We're not self-sustainable. So so we want more people to come and buy your vegetables. I know that's growing organically as people learn, and I know that people in the south, demographically, to drive from the south to the north can take hours because of the traffic. But again, I think if you're en route to the beach or on the way back, or know somebody that's working up there, then we need to get
carpooling to there would be good.
Yes, absolutely.
And also just making, to be honest, Lilia, I really believe that everyone can make that effort once every 2 weeks, once a week. We make an effort for so much stuff,
Absolutely, I totally agree.
I mean, I don't expect everyone, for sure. I know that we are particular with our the way we run our project at the moment, but it's all we can do. We're really trying to do more, and hopefully in the future we'll get access to more land. We'll be able to be more self-sustainable and create more jobs. We need more green jobs. So at the moment it's like survival mode, and we're really trying to come back after a year of changes. But I believe so much in this, and I know that there are so many people willing to support projects like this, that we're going to I hope we set a good precedent with this sort of collaborative creation
ethos. Absolutely, yes, because it is actually for the greater good of all.
Yes,
and as you said, I think it's so cool to think that you've been feeding the vegetables that you've been growing, and have been going to these kids, and you see them grow up. It's so cool to think of it that way. So we know that we need to have more consumer awareness about when you choose. People are tired and they go into the supermarket and you just pick things up. I get that, but if we can just start to encourage people to look and buy locally in Scotland and in Malta.
Everywhere, yes.
Yeah, and really make it the farmer a much more the farming, particularly for vegetables and plants, etc., has to be, the level of importance is way, and respect is way higher than what they actually get right now. People that grow a lot of that stuff are seen as kind of hippies instead of being seen as an integral part of the community for sustaining life and vitality. So we know about that. We want to encourage farmers and we want to increase consumer awareness. Now let's talk about the Farmery. What do you need now? Anybody listening to this podcast that says, I love that idea, what can I do to help? Tell me what you need. What can they do?
I mean, I really think that about the best thing that we can do to support a place like the Farmery is to be part of it. Really, we want people to support us by, for example, not only buying our vegetables, but also by, for example, coming to our events. We will have a series of events that we are planning for the next 6 months. We're looking all the way down to June already, and then we'll start from, let's say, August all the way to December again, having events to do with healthy living, as well as gardening, as well as DIYing. I mean, there's so much to learn, and we have a beautiful space which needs people's input, even just the energy of people. So, for example, organizing team buildings for people who want to come with their workmates, for example. We would need we have a flea market coming up in 2 weeks' time where we'll be selling some really cool vintage stuff that we, as we're a nice bunch of people basically in this space who are enjoying upcycling some stuff which has been given to us in terrible shape, and we're fixing it, and we're going to be putting it back on the market and trying to find new home for it. These things make a difference to just cover the basic expenses for a place like this. And I think it's all about community involvement. So just being part, following us online, sharing our posts,
sharing the events. And I think what you said there about utilising the space, because the space could be great for kids' parties, for anybody's birthday party, and again, there's a lot of big companies in St Julian's and Slima and that area that could be utilising the space and giving back to the island. It's something that's so important. So if you work for any of these big companies and you think, because it's a big space that you've got there.
It's quite huge, yes, it's quite nice. And it's a beautiful outdoor space also. So and we're so lucky in Malta. We have some beautiful days. Okay, today it was like raining all day, but we had a beautiful week last week, and the view from the space is like magic. I mean, honestly.
And you've got the sunset, haven't you? Just like out the back there.
Yes, we have the sunset right behind us. It's beautiful.
Stunning.
We're at the entrance to Maestral Nature Park. So even, for example, organizing with your friends, maybe a tour of the park where you get the ranger to show you around the park, talk to you about the different birds which migrate through it, or understand the flora and the fauna that lives there. And then you can come to the veg box, have a cup of tea, some fresh orange juice, and just hang out with us, learn what we're doing, look at the plants, be a bit more engaged in the other side. There's so much more to life,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would like people to see that too, because it's worth it.
Yes. Well, that is awesome. And I think, obviously helping to share the events, because, events are how we learn what's new, what's going on. It's how we meet new like-minded people.
Yeah. And connect. We need to connect.
So but the other really important thing is that when events are on, that you support them, that people actually make the effort and come out and really support the Farmery. So, and is your website or your Facebook page, where's the best place to find out all the events and the dinners, etc.?
Yes, at the moment we have our base Facebook page, which is the Veg Box Malta. So a lot of people can find us there. We're also as the Veg Box Malta on Instagram. We have a group which is Friends of the Farmery. So you can find us also on Facebook as Friends of the Farmery. We're on Google Maps. You can find the pin if you need to find us on the GPS. We're working on our website, and we're trying to find the best way to integrate the concept of the Farmery, which also is this co-creative space where we have a lot of different projects. It's really beautiful anyway. So how to integrate it and make sure that people have an understanding of the space and the network of farmers that we're supporting, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Veg Box is currently the best space, I guess, or the group, Instagram. Yeah, contact us. On email as well. So
yeah, well, that's great. So thank you so much. I know that you were out in the field. Yeah. You managed to get back in time to talk to me. So I really appreciate your time, and it's so lovely to see you. And have a happy and wonderful new decade. And keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We need more farmers like you. Thanks so much for everything that you do.
Yes, I appreciate. Thank you, Lilia. Lots of love.
Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you.